Hello students. Now as we have already studied about the need for modulation, now let us look at what is the available spectrum wherein we can shift our message signal to higher frequency. As you already know that just now we have studied that we need modulation basically for taking our signal which is in the range of 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz to a very high frequency range. So when we say high frequency range, so what all frequency ranges are available? That is basically our electromagnetic spectrum. Okay, and now this technology is very old. Communication is very old. Right after Henry Hertz discovered that antennas can be used, and you know, in the late 1800s, after that, wireless communication has just grown by leaps and bounds. Now we are having the spectrum totally occupied. Okay, so in that particular spectrum, the oscillation can be as low as 1 hertz and it can go up to very large values. Large values means up to terahertz it can go. Okay, that whole spectrum is basically called as the electromagnetic spectrum. That means the wave frequency from 1 megahertz 1 hertz to very large frequencies. Okay, the next table that I'm going to show is from your textbook, Kennedy's textbook on electronic communication, and I have taken this particular table from there directly because this is something that is there in your syllabus, so I didn't want to use any other source for getting that information, because if you go to internet you will get a large number of charts and PDF sheets which will draw the electromagnetic spectrum. Okay, they are all the same, but the markings are all not the same, but the frequency ranges are almost same. That is what is important. Anyway, now before we talk about anything else, the first thing that we should know is that the electromagnetic spectrum can be broadly defined into two ranges. One is from 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz, which are called as the audio frequency range, and then the radio frequency range, the RF range, which are basically more than 20 kilohertz. So any frequency more than 20 kilohertz we will call as the RF range. Now why do we call this as the audio frequency and radio frequency or RF range? Audio frequency we call them because human voice or audible signal generally are within this particular 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz range. The audio frequency is between this range. So whatever we hear from our ears, it is basically in that range. So whatever we can hear from our ear, there is no need to send it via radiation through an antenna and all, because this we can listen, isn't it? So generally that is called as the audio frequency. Okay, so if I am having a person who is using a microphone, is using a mic, and that mic is connected to a wire, and that is connected to an amplifier to a speaker, then the frequency in this wire, if you would see, it will be in this range, and the signal that is coming out of the speaker, is basically not an electromagnetic wave, but it's basically an acoustic wave. It's called as an acoustic wave. The same signal we can send it directly in the wire. We can send it through the wire to a receiver who is very far away, and that is basically what our telephone lines are about. But even in telephone lines we go for higher frequency, carrier frequency, because everyone has to talk in different bandwidth. But anyway, basically that is the structure, and anything above that is basically called as the radio frequency range. Now let us look very closely at the chart or the table. Okay, now I am not saying that you should memorize the whole of this, but you require some of things. Even if you are going to memorize, you can avoid this wavelength, because wavelength anyway you can calculate if you know what is the frequency. Okay, so I will avoid the wavelength. Okay, let's look at the frequency. So 30 to 300 hertz is called as the extremely low frequency, and that is the frequency which is used for power line communication. What is the meaning of power line communication? Power line communication means you are trying to have a communication channel which is basically your 240-volt power line. The AC power line that you have in your home, that when people are using as a medium for communicating, that is called as power line communication. It is not very old. It is not very old, but there of course is power line communication, wherein people are saying like, anyway we have so much of KCB line, or not KCB, power electric lines that are going from one state to another state, and the whole electric grid is there. So why don't we use that for passing information? And that is where this power line communication comes basically. Okay, next is the 300 hertz. 300 hertz can also be written as 0.3 kilohertz. Okay, 300 hertz can also be written as 0.3 kilohertz. So 0.3 kilohertz to 3 kilohertz is our voice frequency. Voice frequency means the same voice signal that you are hearing now, right now. That voice signal is basically in this particular frequency range, and that is used for face-to-face speech communication or even intercom. What I previously told was intercom. Intercom is between two rooms. If you are having a line, a small telephone line connected, then that is basically called as the intercom. Okay, next, from 3 kilohertz to from 3 kilohertz to 30 from 30 kilohertz to 300 kilohertz. Before that there is 3 kilohertz to 30 kilohertz. Now any sound beyond 20 kilohertz human ears can't detect. Bats are somewhere in that range of 20 kilohertz, bats. Okay, but beyond that humans cannot hear. So where is that frequency used for? That frequency is called as the very low frequency, and that is used in submarine communication. When you have a submarine which is underwater, okay, when you have submarine which is underwater, a submarine is basically contacted using very low frequency in this range. Now why we use this frequency? Because this frequency travels very it's a very good frequency for water as the medium. So generally for submarine communication, when we use audio frequency and or audio frequency range or low frequency range or very low frequency range, we basically use this particular range. The next, from 30 to 300 kilohertz, is called as a low frequency. It is used for marine communication. Marine communication is communication within the sea, undersea. Okay, then we have from 0.3 megahertz, which is 300 kilohertz. From 0.3 megahertz to 3 megahertz is called as the medium frequency range, and that is the frequency range that we use for AM broadcasting. What is AM broadcasting? Amplitude modulation broadcasting. Okay, amplitude modulation broadcasting is basically in the, so AM broadcasting was very old. AM broadcasting, right now we don't have AM. Right now we have FM broadcasting, which comes in this frequency range. Okay, so AM broadcasting that time was medium frequency. So people might ask, anyway, if we are going for higher frequency, why to go for this? Why don't we go for this FM broadcasting which happens in this range? Well, the technology in electronics has grown slowly from kilohertz to megahertz to gigahertz. The megahertz to gigahertz to the technology totally varies. Then gigahertz to terahertz means you are totally talking about optical light signal and photonics and all those range. So the technology has slowly grown in electronics from kilohertz to megahertz. That's why initially we had AM broadcasting taking place in this particular frequency range. So previously and all radio was in AM broadcasting. Then only FM broadcasting came where frequency modulation was used for broadcasting. And right now all the radio is basically in FM broadcasting, because obviously FM broadcasting has a lot of advantages as compared to AM broadcasting. Okay, so that's why radio is in FM broadcasting. But there is a very interesting story wherein AM broadcasting, when it was the the dominating force, that time there was a scientist by the name of engineer by the name of Armstrong, and Armstrong was the one who was trying to push FM broadcasting, and he fought a huge, a kind of huge battle to get FM broadcasting into picture rather than AM broadcasting. He had to really push a lot of people for finally getting the FM broadcasting. If you go and read the history, it's a very interesting history. Anyway, so AM broadcasting takes place within this frequency from 3 to 30 megahertz. We have high frequency, which is used for the landline telephony. So if you still have landline telephony, that telephony is basically, landline telephones are basically working in this particular frequency range. Okay, and when you want to go beyond that, from 30 to 300 megahertz, you have all these radio, FM radio channels. Okay, and also the TV signal. It's in the very high frequency VHF frequency. That's why you might have seen, certain TVs, write VHF input, UHF input, and all those things. They come because we are talking about the frequency, and the UHF frequency is going in the gigahertz range, and you are having cellular telephony basically working in the gigahertz range, where the police wireless, maybe it works in it works in the zero point 0.8 gigahertz. And then first generation was basically 0.8 gigahertz. Second generation we came almost close to 2.4 gigahertz, and then we are having the third generation, which is in the 3 gigahertz range. So this is all cellular telephony or mobile telephones. Okay, 0, like zero point 0.3 to 3 gigahertz. Now when you are having 3 gigahertz to 30 gigahertz, you are talking about super high frequency. We are talking about super high frequency, and that is where your microwave oven works, or the radar works. Radar even goes beyond that. It works in extremely high frequency. Okay, nowadays radar working very extremely high frequency, and even satellite communication basically operates in this. Why satellite communication operates in this frequency? Because the signal, when it goes from Earth to a satellite, if I am going to draw a satellite and then comes back, for going up and coming down, it has to pass through the ozone layer, and the ozone layer will generally reflect all the signals inside, and that is what used to happen for a certain communication, where you want to go for a very long distance communication. You try to use a frequency which will be bounced off by the ozone layer. The ozone layer will bounce off that frequency, and it will send to a long distance, okay, for communication. But when you want to go beyond that, then you use a satellite communication. Okay, and that satellite communication needs to pass through the ozone layer. It should not be reflected by the ozone layer, but it should pass through the ozone layer. So the satellite communication is basically operating in this particular range. Okay, now we are having 0.3 to 3 terahertz, and that is basically the experimental frequency spectrum. It's for all new explorations. Whatever is going to come, it's going to come and occupy this range. And then we are having the terahertz range, which is 43 to 430 terahertz, which is basically the infrared light. And infrared is basically the same thing that you use in your TV remote. Okay, or there is infrared LED is there. If you would have CCTV camera working in the night, it is basically using this infrared light for for the image. Then you are having the visible light communication, or which is called as the optical communication, which is working in 430 to 750 terahertz. Then you are having the ultraviolet. Ultraviolet basically is used for medical applications. Okay, ultraviolet. Then beyond that, you are having X-rays, gamma rays, cosmic rays. These are all going to be used for medical applications. So right now wireless communication is somewhere Wireless communication is somewhere in this range, between not even 3 gigahertz, it's beyond 3 gigahertz, it's somewhere in this range. Okay, the state of the art mobile communication will be right now in this range, and we have to go beyond that. We have to go beyond that. Okay, anyway, so this is what is the electromagnetic spectrum. Thank you.